It all started so quickly. In just 2 months, I found myself living with my partner, someone I thought was my soulmate. The bond we shared felt like something out of a romance novel, a whirlwind of passion and connection that led us to move in together so soon. She was everything I thought I wanted: beautiful, intelligent, and caring. But the reality of living together soon started to unravel the image I had built in my head. At first, it was the harassment from her ex-family that pushed us to move to a new apartment. The relentless phone calls, the constant accusations, and the tension between her and her family made things unbearable. To protect our peace, I decided we needed a fresh start in a new place, away from the drama. I worked hard to get us a better apartment, one with better security, hoping it would bring us the tranquility we so desperately needed. But just the day before we were set to move in, things took a turn. She had been drinking with friends, and I had stayed sober to watch over her child while she partied. It wasn't the first time I had taken on the role of caretaker for her child, but that night I felt the weight of it more than ever. She seemed off, distant, and then things took an even stranger turn when a friend of hers brought his cousin over. As the night went on, she became more and more intoxicated. It was as though she was losing control, and I found myself feeling more like a babysitter than a partner. Her behavior grew erratic, and before I knew it, her friend's cousin started making advances on her. He added her on social media, trying to engage with her in a way that made me feel uncomfortable. I confronted him, and the tension in the room escalated quickly. "Everyone out," I said, trying to regain control of the situation. "We need to go to bed now." I tried to salvage the night, hoping we could just sleep it off, but the arguments began to flare up almost immediately. The air in the apartment became thick with frustration, and at one point, she became physical, shoving me in a drunken fit. I didn't know how to handle it, but I excused her behavior, blaming it on the alcohol. After all, it wasn't the first time she had gotten emotional after drinking. I had grown used to it, even though a small voice inside me began questioning the nature of our relationship. Despite everything, I pushed forward with the idea of a fresh start. No more drama, no more crazy friends. I promised myself that we would be sober, that the past would be behind us. But as we settled into our new apartment, her behavior started to shift. A week after moving in, things took a turn for the worse. One morning, I woke up to find her going through my phone while I was still asleep. I wasn't hiding anything. I'd been loyal and open with her, but I knew I had made one small mistake. I had responded to a message from someone who complimented a picture I had posted online. We'd exchanged a couple of messages, nothing that even came close to crossing a line, but she didn't see it that way. When I woke up and found her angry, holding my phone in her hands, I was immediately put on the defensive. "What is this?" she demanded, her voice shaking with jealousy and anger. "Who is this person?" I tried to explain, but it only made things worse. "It's nothing, just a friendly exchange. You know how people are on social media." But she didn't listen. The argument quickly escalated, and once again, she got physical. I stood there, trying to keep my composure, but it was hard. We were both caught up in the emotions of the moment. I didn't know what to do, but I kept calm and reassured her. In the end, I apologized, swearing that I'd never hurt her and that I loved her. I bought flowers, wrote her a heartfelt letter, and even gave her a promise ring, thinking it would fix everything. But for a while, the issues just kept surfacing. Just days later, things took another dark turn. We were sitting together discussing our relationship when she suddenly brought up the idea of long distance. She suggested we try living apart for a while. I had always been adamant about not doing long-distance relationships. I had tried it before, and it never worked out. I told her that if she felt that way, we could break up. It didn't take long for her to explode. She was furious, accusing me of not loving her, of not caring. Her words cut deep. "You don't love me," she shouted, her face red with anger. "You never loved me." In that moment, something inside me snapped. I wasn't prepared for the onslaught of verbal abuse that came next. She grabbed a knife from the kitchen, and for a moment, I thought she might actually harm me. I managed to hold her arms back, trying to calm her down, but she was relentless. Her anger consumed her, and before I knew it, she had locked herself in the bathroom, still holding the knife. I stood there, frozen, unsure of what to do. I started filming, hoping that I could capture something that would protect me if things got worse. I had seen this kind of behavior before, and it terrified me. When I finally got her to calm down, she collapsed onto the bed, exhausted from the emotional and physical outburst. I didn't know what to do next. I was heartbroken, unsure of how to navigate this toxic relationship, but I knew I couldn't keep going like this. As she slept, I decided to go through her phone. What I found broke my heart even further. She had been texting someone, planning to meet at a hotel. They had exchanged messages about cheating on me, and she had even bragged about hitting me. My mind was spinning. I couldn't believe what I was reading. The person I had trusted had been planning to betray me all along. But that wasn't the worst of it. I kept scrolling and found even more messages, this time between her and a close friend. They had been sexting, and in one message, she admitted to being in love with her friend. It was as though everything I thought I knew about our relationship had been a lie. At 2 a.m., I couldn't take it anymore. I knew I had to make a decision. The next morning, I told her she needed to leave. She wasn't on the lease, and I couldn't let her stay any longer. When she heard what I said, she flipped out. She became irate, throwing punches at me, trying to choke me. I felt like I was losing control of everything. My family heard the commotion. They rushed into the living room, witnessing the chaos that was unfolding. I had no choice but to call the police. It was the hardest decision I had ever made, but I knew it was the only way to protect myself. When the police arrived, things escalated even further. She was arrested on charges of domestic violence, harassment, and child abuse. It was surreal. I had tried to justify her actions for so long. I had told myself that her past, her trauma, was the reason she acted out. But now I realized that I had been enabling her behavior. The days that followed were a blur. I was left to process everything. Part of me still felt guilty, like I had failed her, but I realized she needed help that I could not provide. She was toxic for me, and I had to let go. As the days passed, I leaned on friends and family for support. They reassured me that I had made the right decision. I had dodged a bullet, and slowly I started to heal. I realized that sometimes love isn't enough. No matter how much you care about someone, you can't change them. You can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved. As painful as it was, I knew I had to move on. I had to find my own peace, my own happiness. If you're reading this and you're in a similar situation, please leave before it's too late. It will save you the pain, the trauma, and the heartbreak. You deserve better. You deserve someone who will love you, support you, and treat you with the respect you deserve. As for her, I hope she gets the help she needs. But I'm done. I've learned my lesson, and I'm moving on. Life goes on, and I'm finally taking control of mine. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this story. I hope it sheds light on the importance of recognizing toxic relationships and finding the strength to walk away. If you've ever been in a similar situation or know someone who is, remember that you're not alone. If you found this story helpful, please hit the like button and share it with anyone who might need to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe for more real-life stories and insights. Stay strong and take care of yourself. You deserve the best.